Most recent tweet, and again, no capitalization, no punctuation. Got bored again, so I'm playing in the SCG thing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's this.
Pinned a tweet. Hate online tournaments. Awesome.
Yeah, if you don't love if you can't love that, you can't love anything really.
Both tweets, no capitalization, no punctuation.
That's right.
Not even I in hate online tournament.
No. Let it be known. Here's a cultivate for Dilks. Baumeister, he posted his list. Speaking of Twitter, Baumeister's Twitter, a little bit different flavor to it. But I will say that he posted the list that he's playing on his Twitter. Corey is always pretty public with his information. So if you'd like to see what he is up to, he said, I had a nice 12-0 run getting ready for the Standard Championship Qualifier number 4. I think my deck is really good for today, but it could also be a huge mistake. Only time will tell. Let's battle. So we will see him battle here momentarily with his build of Sultai. We can also let you know that unfortunately that match that we were watching that was so choppy between Dom Harvey and Kyle Bogmees was won by Dom Harvey. Again, Harvey playing Sultai Ramp. Bogmees was playing Sultai Flash, so congratulations to Dom, our colleague and friend. Condolences to Kyle Bogmees, not our colleague, but our friend. Bogmees starts the tournament off at 0-1. Harvey 1-0. And we'll see in front of us, Dilks and Baumeister, who's going to start this thing off on the right foot. As here is a Shark Typhoon being cycled. Patrick, you mentioned that this seems like a big weekend for Shark Typhoon. It's hard to argue there, bud. It's very, very good in the mirror. It's really good at doing exactly what you talked about earlier, which is going after Narset. And if people are going to move towards Narset, Shark Typhoon feels like a natural counter to that Planeswalker.
And it's also not like you're straining to play with Shark Typhoon. You could easily justify playing 3 or 4 copies in the main deck for other reasons. But again, I think if Narset's going to be a defining feature of this weekend, if I was playing Sultai Ramp or really any sort of blue mid-ranger control strategy, I would want to have at least 3 copies of Shark Typhoon in the main.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So, Planeswalker Party favoring Baumeister at the moment. Nissa and Narset on the battlefield. Nissa's going to animate an Overgrown Tomb. Corey's got 5 cards in. They're a mystery during our time shift to match. We just come from one player's perspective. In this instance, it will be Matthew Dilks. Uro now the play here for Corey. Just going to escape that. Fabled Passage will join the battlefield. And Dilks will sacrifice a Fabled Passage of his own. Basic coming. It'll be an island. And now Typhoon will be cycled. That'll be a 4-4. Draw a Breeding Pool. Draw a copy of Ether Dust. Let's start with Narset, shall we? That one's done. And Dilks want to do a little more ramping with Cultivate, or do we want to clear the path with the discard spell first? Looks like we'll go with the discard spell.
Because Corey's hand could easily be either flooding out or have a bunch of haymakers, and depending on what's there, that's going to inform how you want to sculpt the rest of your turn.
Well, there's Corey's hand. Hydroid Crisis, Nissa who shakes the world, Narset Parter Veils, and a Negate, so that's a doozy.
Yeah, this is the not flooding out.
Yes, that's correct. Now here is Uro. Put a land on the battlefield. Fabled Passage it is. Uro heads to the graveyard. Breeding Pool, tapped. Corey's going to sacrifice Fabled Passage on the end step. Alright, get a basic island. She's got a lot of mana to work with, obviously, with that Nissa on the battlefield. Nissa and Grip as well. We know about the Narset. We know about the Negate. Here's the Uro from the graveyard. That'll be escaped. Goodbye, 5 cards. Dilk's going to sacrifice Fabled Passage. Looks like he might try to gust this. We know that that is something that could fail because of the Negate that's hanging out in Corey's hand, so we'll see if he wants to fight here or not. And he will fight back, so Negate's going to take care of that. Uro will join the battlefield. Triggers aplenty. Draw a card. We're going to put a land out there for Corey. See here in just a moment. And of course, 3 life will be gained as well. Hell of a card.
See this?
Yeah. Did you watch that video I sent you, and how stupid did you think it was?
I got through about 90 seconds. I saw that it was like
God.
5 minutes or something. Like
What?
I don't have 5 minutes of this in me.
Oh, it's you hear about this thing now? Kudos to getting through 90 seconds. I will give you that.
Also, have you watched much Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Very little, because I just find it to be. I find some of it funny, and I find some of it to be just awful.
Yeah, no, I'm not defending all of it. I'm saying that part of the humor is Carl, the character. But if you're from New Jersey, you just know a lot of people like Carl, so maybe that's funny or maybe it's not. But it's not a parody. The characters in that bit, if you're again from New Jersey, it's like I just know people who are like that. It's not that funny.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Nissa has created another land. We got 2 3/3s and a Uro on the battlefield. Eliminate's going to take care of Narset. You see the game really does center around that card in a meaningful way. Now here comes Uro once again. Going to escape here, will Dilks. 5 cards. Kindly leave. And we'll see what the big finish will be here in just a moment. There's Narset. Again, Corey's built his deck as so many others have. Excuse me. I think with the express purpose of beating the Sultai Mirror, I think that people think that this is just what the format is, and I think that's fair. I mean, the deck's win percentage, the deck's popularity. If you want to get an edge, you got to gear up for the Sultai Mirror. Again, we saw Alexander Gordon Brown do a fantastic job of that last weekend and win the tournament as a result, and players look like they might even be taking that to even more of an extreme here this weekend, partner.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, the 2 weeks ago, 2 copies of the top 4 and won the tournament. And to go from that, which is, I mean, that's a really dominant performance for a deck. To go from that to 6 copies in the top 8, all of the top 4, it's rare to see a deck have a performance that good initially and to follow up the next weekend with an even more dominant performance for the mirror match to be even more ubiquitous. So we'll see if this weekend's the inflection point. I mean, we're going to have a lot of our best players playing Sultai Ramp. So best players playing the best deck, that's a hard combination to beat. But everyone knows what the terms of engagement are now. It's about beating this deck, and we'll see how many people try to beat and how many people try to join, and if the people who are trying to beat are able to do it.
Yeah, if they didn't know before, they definitely do now, right? About what's going on. I mean, you got to be out of the loop in a pretty meaningful way if you don't know exactly what's going on here. But hey, it's a heck of a deck. It's incredibly, incredibly powerful. And we are seeing players really starting to get into the nuts and bolts of how can I win the mirror match? What are the cards that are important? And it appears as though people have identified, or at least said, you know what? I'm going to decrease my reliance on Hydroid Crisis, and I'm going to increase my reliance on Shark Typhoon.
And you can only play so many of those kind of cards before your aggressive matchups really deteriorate. So, I mean, I think that you could play a mix, potentially too. But the cards are low opportunity cost enough that I think people just think, well, why not just play like 7 total of those cards? And it's just, you can do that. But once you start playing against people who are trying to attack, that build really collapses.
Well, Corey B wins game number 1. We'll see if we can get a second game here for you, because I know it's almost time here for round number 2 shortly. Looks like we got a nice one on tap here for round number 2 as well. Ari Lax versus Eli Cassis. Got Autumn Burchett. What's that?
Who's your load screen avatar?
My load screen avatar? I think Vivian, I don't know.
Okay. I was curious.
I'd ask. Go ahead.
What's up?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna. What's your Magic Online avatar?
I have not logged on to Magic Online in like a week, so I don't know.
Okay.
What's yours?
The Goblin.
Oh, nice. Why would you be the Goblin?
What do you mean? What choices do I have that are more appropriate than the Goblin?
Is Luris an option?
Luris? I don't think they have a Luris avatar.
Okay,
Maybe
like
they just- Also, the Luris avatar it happens at the start of the game anyway. Like you just hit the Luris button and it shows it. It's like you get 2 avatars basically.
sure. Hey, you hear about this thing? Narset. I've heard about this one. I'm gonna check that Narset. Okay. There's a nice beatdown. Here's Neuro. Oh yeah. The only thing better than watching Assault Time Mirror is going through it quickly. Here's a Thought Eraser. Commence the endgame, Tameo, 2 Shark Typhoons, and a Fabled Passage. Sure. Eliminate Typhoon in the grip. Let's tune up the band. This can end the game pretty quickly, truth be told. And it feels like Corey's just super behind on this one. So let's see. Dilks is gonna, Dilks says, you know what? I want to snowball. I want to push the advantage. So let me cycle a Shark Typhoon right now. It doesn't got to be perfect. 5/5 is big enough. Krasis the draw. Tameo as well. Dilks gonna take a little loopski poo here. All right, Tam.
You have nicknames for all the cards, don't you?
I can make a nickname for literally anything, man. It's really not hard.
Oh, I'm trying to think of the character's name now. You're reminding me of Tommy Haverford.
That's Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a million inane nicknames ready to go.
That's right. Just fire it off.
I call it Tam Tam.
That's right. Entertainment 720. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Commence the end game. Nah, that's probably dead.
I call it QB for questing piece.
I do. You know what I call? You know what I call? You know what I call Tempest? TD. I actually.